Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Kleinknecht here, and of course, head coach Scott Langer. A coach over in St. Cloud this weekend, almost a tale of two teams, really, certainly two nights. As the Wings fell to St. Cloud 5-1 Friday night in a back-and-forth first period, and things didn't really improve as the game went along. But like you said, Saturday, really a game that all you can do is just kind of put it behind you, flush it, as you said. Not a whole lot to take away from that, really.
It's one of those games you're on the road, and you had some opportunity early to score some goals, and we let them hang around. And they're a team, if you let them hang around, they could beat you. So, and we just we had some monster chances that their goaltender did a great job on, and it's you're gonna run into some of those games sometimes, especially on the road. So for us, it wasn't about dwelling on that; it was about responding.
And respond you did. A bounce back 6-1 Wings win on Saturday. Michael Reed got his first of the season at a key moment that really seemed to loosen everybody up, and ended up putting 5 goals on in the first 2 periods, and ended up chasing their goaltending change made between the second and third. And again, it ends up being 6-1, but a great bounce back.
Yeah, a lot more energy. We were first to a lot of pucks, and that was the goal, is to really get on them. And often, and we did. We suffocated them quite a bit there. I would say, I think we only gave up maybe 11 shots total in the entire game, on that we kept track of. So, defensively, we were good, and we were on them hard and often.
Yeah, and the end zone presence too. It just seemed like 3/4 of the game was played with the Wings on the attack. That being the weekend that was, I wanted to talk a little bit about last week. Of course, the trend of Fairbanks recruiting Wings players continues, as Cade Nielsen has committed last week. That's great news for him, and another great fit.
Yeah, they're doing a great job recruiting our guys, and they're making them excited to want to be in the Nook, and they're offering them great packages. So it was great for Cade. He's a young hockey player, still in 01 with some time there. So. They thought they needed to get him early and allow him to go back to play another year in juniors and then go in there. But, and the nice about that whole thing is those guys are all going to have one another to lean on.
Yeah.
And it's not very often you go and play college hockey for 4 years and you have guys around you that you can rely on to help you get through the tough times.
Yeah, talking with Jacob Bro, mentioned that, but basically in the locker room, they're going to have a lot of familiar faces when that isn't normally the case. So definitely advantageous for those guys. Well, Wings at the top of the Central Division right now with 60 points, Minot with 49 in second, then Bismarck and Austin both with 48. The Wilderness have 40 and St. Cloud at 24. Austin swept by Chippewa over the weekend. Minot swept Bismarck, but Bismarck did pick up a point on Friday. The weekend coming up, Coach, of course, fan bus heading up there. We'll talk about that in just a bit. But they've lost 4 straight. They're going to be hungry, I would imagine.
Well, they're always hungry against us. It just seems like we get their best game. They're animated and they work really hard, and they force us to play our best. So it's not going to be any different. They're building. We're going to have to be sharp, and we're going to have really solid defensive play against them and slow down their offense, because they have a lot of guys that create offense and make plays.
Yeah, they certainly do. Any other keys that you can think about, or that you'd share at least, as to make the weekend successful up there?
You got to play hard.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a team that you have to play hard the entire game. They've proven that they can come back on you. They've proven that they can get out of the gates early against you. So. We just have to have a good week of preparation, and we have to be mentally prepared to go in there. Those are big points on the line against Bismarck, and we got to find a way to beat them in their building, because you don't know if you'll see them in the playoffs, and you have to be able to win there.
That's a very good point. All right, well, Coach, we'll let you get back to business and move on with our second portion here coming up. I want to thank you for coming on the show, of course, and big win Saturday night. Wings will look to try to keep that trend going against the Bobcats, and again, more information on all of that coming up in just a bit. But Coach, again, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, that'll pretty much take care of the first portion. We'll have the player joining us coming up right after this. welcome back as we continue on with Wings Weekly. And as always, player joining us, or at least most of the time, a player joining us in the second portion. And this time it's Jack Powell of Alexandria, Minnesota. Jack, how you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, happy to have you. 5 goals, 21 assists, one of them big on Saturday night there in St. Cloud. You were with this team last year, and I talked with you a little bit over at Bismarck. I know when you went back down to play in Alexandria and then came back towards the end of the year. That was kind of tough for you, though, to be away from these guys. And now, obviously, you're a huge part of this team and one of the leaders, as certainly in the defensive core. So how do you compare last year to this year? Not only your play, but also like these teams. Are they comparable?
That's tough. That's a hard comparison. I mean, last year we were close, super close, and we're getting there this year. We're getting there, and I think we'll get there for sure. But no, it's been a lot of fun this year. Last year was just a blessing, and I'll always be grateful for that year. And I learned a lot. As a player, I think I grew. I matured a lot. But
yeah. Well, that's an important piece for sure. And it was funny because I was actually talking with Brad Belisle's parents over in St. Cloud this weekend, and they were telling me that this is honestly one of the all-time highs of their life was that championship game.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Definitely something. All right. Well, you're an outdoorsman. You like to fish and hunt and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So I kind of thought so. And being from Alexandria, and you have a lot of opportunities, I would imagine. Yep. Have you had a chance to do any of that around here?
Yeah. I got a little tent, a 5-man tent, take a couple of the boys. We usually go Sunday afternoons, Sunday nights, just kind of go see what's biting. We've had one good day. Other than that, we just kind of don't catch much, but it's fun to get out. We did do a little bit of pheasant hunting.
Yeah.
Beginning of the part 2. It was kind of slow though, but it was fun.
Yeah. Well, I think I kind of heard that all around actually. I think it was largely because everything was so wet and so many crops up still and whatnot. Yeah. But what's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
I caught a 27-inch walleye a couple years ago through the ice. I think that's the biggest one I've caught.
Is it only ice fishing that you're into, or do you do some open water?
I like ice fishing more. I don't know why. It's just kind of the calmness of it. Kind of sit there in a little hole and jig around. But I do summer fishing, but I don't have a boat or anything. I just kind of go offshore.
Right on.
But
how about, like you mentioned, pheasant hunting? Do you do any like deer hunting or anything like that? Ever been like elk hunting or?
I have been deer hunting. I used to go deer hunting every year in high school and when I was old enough. But it's tough being away here. Can't really do much deer hunting. But I've always wanted to go elk hunting. My stepdad does trips to Colorado that I hopefully want to go on one day.
Nice. Well, and like you said, playing hockey, it makes it difficult, especially when the season is getting going in late August and so on. So I wanted to talk with you a little, again, like I said, not only just comparing last year's team to this year's team, but where you were from the beginning of this season to where you guys are at now. There's been quite a bit of growth. I mean, and I wanted to ask you from a player's perspective, what's been the biggest difference?
From the beginning of the year to now?
Yeah.
Just
how have you guys grown as a group, and how have you improved? What's been the biggest catalyst?
We've become closer as a group. Locker room's a little quiet beginning part of the year, and everyone's kind of getting outgoing, getting personalities.
Sure.
And I think our mindset's kind of changed. Like, it was tough in the beginning, but everyone just wants to win and do their best and hold each other accountable.
Well, it definitely, Coach Langer and I have talked a few times over the last few weeks and even months, really, about here on Wings Weekly about the growth of this team. And like Connor Beatty said, he feels like this guy's the limit. Like, they can achieve anything. How about your roots? I was thinking for some reason I had you on last year and then we kind of covered this, but you mentioned that wasn't the case. So I want to start from the beginning. Where did you start? And when did you start skating and playing hockey? What was your biggest influence? Talk about your family a little bit. Like, do you have any brothers and sisters that played, or how did?
Okay. I did not have any brothers or sisters who played. I had a cousin, I think, who played for a little bit, but my dad, he played basketball, football, baseball growing up. So hockey wasn't really like in our family. And then we moved houses, and we found hockey sticks in the attic, and we didn't know what they were, so we just started playing with them.
You're from Minnesota. You didn't know what they were?
We weren't a hockey family, no.
Wow.
No, and then about 6, decided to get a pair of skates, try it out. I still remember the first time actually strapping. I like these weird black and green skates. Went out just to little local pond,
Uh-huh.
skating with my family, and then I joined association hockey when I was 7, and just kind of took off from there.
Wow. See, I always ask that question, and it's almost always the same. Oh, I started about 4 or 5, whatever, da da da. But every now and then you get a different story, and that's why I ask it to everybody because it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Now, years ago, the Wings had a goalie that didn't start skating until he was like almost 13 years old.
Oh wow.
And I was like, that always just blew me away. But your family, though, you mentioned that your dad was athletic or whatever.
Yep.
You don't have any brothers and sisters that played, but do you have any brothers and sisters? What are they?
Yeah, I have a brother. He's 22. He lives in Baudette, Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Big
Yep.
time fishing area.
Yeah, he kind of does a lot of ice fishing, guiding, and whatnot in the winter time. And then I have a 10-year-old sister.
Oh, right on.
Yep.
Very cool. All right. Well, you have committed to Bemidji State. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about that process. You went up there, got a tour of the campus and of the locker room and so on. And what made it feel like the right fit for you?
Just you walk. They were really nice to me. The coaching staff. They were very welcoming and inviting, and it didn't feel as like it kind of I fit in. Like we had a dinner, and they're easy to talk to. And Brad was with me, too, so that made it a lot easier to kind of open up.
Sure.
But the facilities were just amazing, and you walk into like this back room, and you can see like murals and pictures of like the tradition and culture,
Sure.
and you can just like feel like the presence of like a winning culture and being a part of something.
Very cool. I know there have been many Wings that have gone and played for Bemidji State. Of course, Brad Belisle, as you just mentioned. And a lot of Wings fans actually even will go up there for games and catch some games when they can. And I've heard that it's a pretty phenomenal facility. Nice. So, all right. Well, that's really about all I got for you, Jack. But I want to thank you for coming on the show. Got Bismarck coming up this weekend, so good luck against them.
Thank you.
7:15 puck drop both nights. You can watch the games at Wings and Rings or on Hockey TV. Listen to 94.1 The Rock, HubCityRadio.com, or the Rock app. And remember, folks, a fan bus heading up there on Saturday. Saturday at 1 o'clock here at the Odie is when the bus will load. At 1:30 is when it leaves. $50, and that includes your game admission or general admission ticket to the game as well. It is a BYOB party bus. Kids are welcome, but must be accompanied by a parent or an adult anyway. For more information on that or to get your name on the list, call Aaron at 380-5852. And that will wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.